So UFC 322 just ended about 10 minutes ago. And as we always do on all my channels, let's break down the entire card and talk about what happened. First fight on the night was an early prelim fight. Vyacheslav Borshev versus Matthias Camilo. I'm not going to lie. I think this fight was a robbery. I'm sure a lot of people might disagree. But I feel like the Borshev of the jab of Borshev should have accounted for something. Borshev was landing that jab all night, and although it was like a maybe not as powerful of a jab, it was still a connected strike, and that should account for something. And he was landing it all night in comparison to Camilo's like maybe 5 or 6 takedowns. I think that should have weighed heavier. So I think Borshev should have won that fight, but it is what it is. Next up, Bison Susakayev versus Eric McNico. Susakayev came out with the round 3 KO. I don't know, like it was a tough fight for Susakayev. You know, he was kind of gassing at some points. The knockout was still legit. It was great. You know, it showed how much promise he has and how much potential he has as a UFC fighter. Um, but I don't know. I still don't like the showboating. I don't like the mentality. He still kind of seems overly arrogant to me. He gives me that type of vibe. I'm not sure if he does that same for you, but for me, he gives that type of arrogant, vibe. I don't like it. I think he needs a little bit more humility. But congrats with the KO though. Like I said, he still has a ton of potential. He looks great, especially on the feet as well. Like when he really lets himself go, lets himself flow, he ends up making big time plays, and he did so tonight. So credit to him for that. Women's fight: Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. Let me tell you something. I'm a Fatima Klein fan now. That lady came out and executed everything to a T. Her aggressiveness, speed, precision, determination, energy, all of it was showcased tonight. Angela Hill didn't have any room to breathe at all. I can't even say Angela Hill did bad because the performance of Fatima Klein overshadowed Angela Hill entirely. It was like Fatima Klein was fighting a punching bag out there. So yeah, and grappling a punching bag. Next up, Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Mariscal. Um, this was also a great fight. This was a unanimous decision win for Sabatini. Sabatini dominated Mariscal in this fight, especially on the ground. I thought he would do so on the feet, but on the ground is okay as well. Pat Sabatini absolutely outclassed Mariscal everywhere in that fight. Congrats to him for it. Next up, Kyle Daukaus versus Gerald Marshart. This was so fast, so incredibly fast, and it's just all due to the extreme range advantage for Kyle Daukaus. The guy is a lanky giant and can strike with the best of them. The submission was a little weird, how that followed right after. Like, I feel like Daukaus could have easily just continued with some ground and pound to finish the fight. But hey, whatever you can do to really assure yourself the win, do it. So yeah, really cool. Main prelims now. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. Malcolm Wellmaker gets slightly fraud checked. I won't say it's a huge fraud check because it was a competitive fight. It was a highly entertaining, competitive back and forth dog fight of a fight. But Ethan Ewing surprised the whole MMA world. I'm an Ethan Ewing fan now. The guy is incredible. He's so assured of himself. He fights with such confidence. Reminds me of how Peyton Talbot used to fight, with extreme confidence. And he just outstruck and outgrappled Malcolm Wellmaker. Emphasis on outgrappled. But yeah, Ethan Ewing looked incredible. One of those rare UFC debut domination wins. Credit to Ethan Ewing. Malcolm Wellmaker has to go back to the drawing board and add something. Next up, Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. Blanchfield won this in round 2 via submission. I don't have much to say. I just chose Tracy to win this fight off a whim. Erin looks great and definitely deserves a title shot after that performance. Next, RoboCop versus Roman Kopylov. RoboCop wins it via unanimous decision. It was the correct decision. RoboCop looked great. The power differential was extreme, knocking back the head of Roman Kopylov again and again and again. Bloodied his face up, bruised him up. Just a dominant performance for Gregory Rodriguez, aka RoboCop, on the feet. Kopylov couldn't do anything. He had a couple really quick kicks, but that's it. RoboCop's power shined through, his focus, his precision, all of that just shined straight through. Last fight on the prelims, Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. A fiery Bo Nickel came into the octagon in this fight. Heck of a KO against Vieira. He was winning the entire fight too. Didn't really lose a second of it. Vieira looked god awful on the feet, and he couldn't grapple with Bo Nickel because Bo Nickel is Bo Nickel. So, just an excellent win for Bo Nickel via knockout, no less. So, really nice cherry on top of the pie or the cake or whatever. And Bo Nickel looks great. He was fired up after. He flipped off the crowd because it feels like everybody's doubting him. Everybody's on me. That's what they do to everybody. You're an athlete. You're a pro athlete. The minute you make one mistake, it's going to be all over Twitter. That's how it works. So yeah, whatever. First fight, main event, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Beneil Dariush. Great fight. I was really, really surprised about how quick Benoit got that knockout. Granted, it was entirely Beneil's fault. Beneil Dariush tripped Benoit up, and then all hell broke loose for him. He decided, oh my gosh, I gotta get the win, and went crazy on Benoit. So crazy that he left his chin wide open, and Benoit was able to send a hook over the top, landed clean, and Beneil went out for a solid 3 seconds. He fell over cartoonishly, ended up just butt up, head down into the canvas. And then he came to after a couple seconds and said, oh, it was an early stoppage, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't. Beneil Dariush got flatlined for a solid 3 seconds in that fight. And that was all due to Benoit staying calm and capitalizing. And he did. So, yeah, credit to Benoit. I would like to see Benoit versus Patty. I'll talk more about that in a future post. Next up, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. This was a great fight for me. This was the fight I was most excited for because I dislike both of these fighters. So I would like nothing more than to watch them fight each other. And I was so happy to see Leon get knocked out. That was revenge for Kamaru Usman. Love to see it. Surprised about it because, again, I went with experience here. I had Leon beating Carlos in the third round. But Carlos's range is just so huge. The guy could just, put like half of his effort into a leg kick and still land pretty well because of how long his legs are. It's insane. But yeah, just a fight you're just too short. Leon was too short, and that's really what caused that loss for Leon. It was a tough, really, 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 really bad loss. I wonder when we'll see Leon again because, as you know, he's known for just kind of going off the grid when he takes these tough losses, or losses in general. So we might not see Leon again until like mid 2026, late 2026. If that, Leon might just flat out retire, which he probably should. His fall from grace has been a real tough one. But at least he got to touch UFC gold, which is more than a lot of fighters could say. Maybe even one day more than Carlos Prates could say, because I don't see Carlos Prates winning a title, especially not now because Islam just beat JDM. So if it's Carlos versus Islam, Carlos is effed. Carlos is effed. Next up, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. This was quick. Simple key to the outcome of this fight is the height differential. Sean Brady was just too short. And I think there's something interesting to think about here in terms of Ilya and how people talk about Ilya can move up again. Ilya can move up again. Ilya has to be considerate about the height differential. Ilya is the same height as Sean Brady, 5'7". Okay? As powerful as he is, as skillful as he is everywhere, he's still short. There's going to be a range disadvantage, a significant one if he's fighting somebody else 6 foot plus. And Kamaru Usman is 6 foot plus. Leon and Michael Morales are all 6 foot plus. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov is too. I think Ian Gary is. Carlos Prates definitely is. There are a lot of welterweights who are 6 foot plus, and you got to be at least 5'10" to tango with that, which Islam is. So yeah. I don't see Ilya moving to welterweight. I see him move to lightweight and maybe just staying there till the rest of his career. Because a move to welterweight is risky as heck. But I'll talk more about that later in a different video. Co-main, women's fight, Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Really depressing fight. If Islam didn't win, my night would have been completely ruined. Depressing fight, you know. It's basically shades of Izzy fighting Jan Blachowicz. And credit to this guy on my TikTok live stream that told me this. Because it's basically Izzy versus Jan. Just a bigger, stronger person, you know, just laying on top of the other. And the other person's trying to go for double champ, unable to do so. Is what it is. Valentina looked great. Valentina is top 2 women's MMA all time. And it is what it is. She just keeps winning. Nobody can stop her. She's smart, technical, strong. And she just dominated one of the greatest female fighters ever who was on a heck of a run. So yeah, credit to her. Zhang Weili should probably move back to her own weight class and dominate there. Maybe come back, you know, a little later. And last fight of the night, JDM versus Islam. JDM just wasn't able to do anything, really. Even on the feet, Islam looked great, you know. Credit to Islam for knowing not to stay on the feet for too long and immediately go to the ground when he needed to, which he did. And he just held JDM there, you know. And he wasn't just holding him there. He was trying to look for submissions, but credit to JDM and his training by Craig Jones. He was able to avoid every or survive every submission attempt Islam attempted, which, you know, not a lot of fighters can say they did. So credit to JDM for at least that, you know. Despite that, Craig Jones didn't do much. You know, like I saw Craig Jones talk to JDM a couple times, but you know, I would have liked Craig Jones to be more vocal. I saw JDM's coach be more vocal, but all JDM's coach was calling for was for JDM to strike more, which he obviously can't do if he's fighting a strong grappler who's taking him down all the time. So let's talk to Craig Jones, who can help JDM stay on the feet and actually strike. But no, we're going to have some bald Australian guy yell at him about striking the whole time. Didn't make any sense. Overall, this was my full breakdown of the entire card of UFC 322, which just ended now, maybe like 30 minutes ago. Let me know what you think. Not a great card for me in terms of fight picks. I think I got like half of my picks wrong. Probably, I haven't looked. But overall, that's that. Let me know what you think. I love each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you in my next post. Mr. Fight Companion, out.